Trubisky, fucking good in the ball. Santel, all the way to the basket. Foul, lays it in for two.
Good morning, high school basketball fans, and welcome to another edition of the Upstate Hoops Podcast. I'm Jim Sinacropi here inside the FingerLakes1.com studios on the third floor of the North Park building in Seneca Falls, New York. It's Sunday, January 26th, 2019, and got a great episode today. We have a special Wayne County Girls Edition. I have four outstanding players from the Wayne County League in studio. I have Izzy Wilbur from Red Creek, Taylor Sharp from Clyde, Caiden Crego from Lyons, and Zoe Zutes from East Rochester. I'll give you the updated power rankings. We'll look at maybe some of the games coming up the week ahead. And great episode, so I'll get right to it. The Upstate Hoops Podcast and all of our coverage of Wayne Finger Lakes High School basketball is brought to you thanks to the support of Generations Bank, Little John Orthodontics, DeSanto Propane, and Bill Cram Chevrolet. So, as I mentioned, outstanding group of players in studio, and I'll welcome them all. Let's go west to east across the Wayne County League. So Zoe Zutes from East Rochester. Zoe, thanks for coming in.
Of course, thanks for having me.
And show everybody your hand.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you've broke your thumb.
Yeah.
What's the prognosis? How long do you think you'll be out?
4 to 6 weeks, but it's already been a week.
Oh, okay.
So hopefully I'll be back for the first round of sectionals, but we're not 100% sure, what will happen. But I'll get it off, the cast in a week, but then I'll put something else on it.
Right. So you're shooting for sectionals. Hopefully
Yeah.
get back.
Yeah. Because I'm out for the season, but hopefully sectionals.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, we'd like to see you back too as well. And then from Lyons, Caiden Crego.
Hi.
And your next door neighbor in Route 31 and here in the studio days, Taylor Sharp from Clyde. Thanks for coming in. And a girl who seems like she's been on varsity for 18 years, scored a lot of points, Izzy Wilbur from Red Creek. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
So, a lot to get to today. The Wayne County Girls League maybe doesn't get a lot of attention from us here. That's why I wanted to do this show, because you guys are all having great seasons. And actually, I want to pull up the standings real quick so we see where we stand. So Lyons right now is a half game ahead of Clyde. Red Creek's a game back, and East Rochester's a game and a half back, and then Ganonda's still in there too. But it's highly competitive. And for the past few years, going back 2 to 5 years, that Lyons and Clyde battle on the boys' side has always been close. But now we got the girls battling out for maybe the league county title. And Caiden, your team is having a great season, and you've gotten better every year since you've been on varsity. Now you're a senior now?
Yep.
So, what's the reason for the success this year? Like I said, you've been a little better each year, and then this year it seems like you've kind of peaked.
Yeah, we've had young girls playing with us, and just as they grow older and we develop as a team, we really bond together and come together, and we all mesh pretty well, and that's been a major key to our success.
Yeah, so the chemistry of just playing together for so long
Right.
under Coach Bassett, and and Taylor. The Clyde girls haven't been that great for a while, but this year you're pretty good.
Yeah.
Your senior year, but it also seems kind of frustrating because this is your senior year, but your rest of the team is so young, like a lot of freshmen. Talk about your season so far real quick.
We're doing pretty good.
Yeah.
The freshmen are really stepping up.
Yeah,
I'm excited to see them in the next few years.
I saw you guys play Minders in Seneca Falls last week, and a lot of young talent. And then, so you're really, do you feel like a little extra pressure as a leader with such a young team?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. And then Izzy Wilbur. So prolific statistics like triple doubles, 40-point games, double-digit assist games. Let me ask you this first. When was your earliest basketball memory?
On high school?
Yeah, just the first time, even before, like maybe you were 2 years old and shot a Nerf basketball in the hoop or something. I don't know.
I remember Little Rams. Our assistant coach, Dave Welcher, had me come in 4th grade because it was for 5th and 6th, but I played in 4th grade, and that was a big thing for me back then.
Right. And then, so when did you realize that kind of basketball was going to be your, main sport?
Then, right then there.
Right then, you
I
loved it
was
from
like,
the
I
start?
love this, yeah.
Zoe, how about you? What's your earliest basketball memory?
3rd grade for CYO, the church league. It was always like a big thing. St. Jerome, like we'd always have the Nickerzetta tournament at our school, and it was always big in ER. So definitely then.
And then when did you realize that is basketball your number one sport?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. So when did you kind of realize that was going to be the case?
Probably like the first season, like 3rd grade, when I was like 7, 8 years old, like just playing with like it was the church league. It was nothing huge, but
you knew from the start.
Oh, for sure.
Okay. And same question to you, Caiden. Earliest basketball memory?
Playing in-house league at our community center, like with all the kids my age and stuff like that. Then I play with the boys too. That's when I really decided like this is what I want to do.
Yeah, basketball's huge in Lyons, right?
Yeah.
Kind of different than other places.
Right.
It's like a whole culture, the whole town.
Definitely.
And Taylor, what was your earliest basketball memory?
Probably 3rd grade travel.
3rd grade travel?
Yeah.
And do you play any other sports besides basketball?
Volleyball and track.
And which is your favorite?
Probably basketball.
Basketball? When did you kind of fall in love with basketball?
Probably in travel league.
Right off the bat. Okay. Anybody else play any other sports, Caiden?
Yeah, I did tennis and I'm doing track.
Tennis and track? What event in track?
I do the 400 hurdles, the open 400, and the 4x4.
How about you, Taylor, for track?
I do the 100, 4x1, 400.
Okay. And Zoe, any other sports?
Yeah, track and tennis.
Track and tennis?
Yeah.
Like first, second singles, doubles?
I do first doubles, but I've also done second singles.
Second singles, okay.
Yeah.
And Izzy, how about you? Soccer?
Soccer, yes.
Yeah, what position in soccer?
Goalie.
Goalie? Oh, you're the
Yeah.
goalie. Oh, no kidding. In soccer, now are you the Red Creek Mules in soccer?
Yes.
And the Rams in
And
basketball.
Rams,
So
yeah.
that gets kind of confusing, right?
Yeah,
Not many schools have that, but great soccer tradition in Red Creek.
it's a big thing, yeah.
Yep. All right, well, like I said, awesome to have the whole depth of the Wayne County League here in studio at one time. But for a lot of our listeners who may not have seen any of you play, I'm going to have you each describe each other's game. So, Izzy, I'll start with you, and you can talk about Zoe.
Okay. Zoe, she can crash the boards. We always got a rebound when we play East Rochester. She has a good mid-range jumper. She was on fire the second half of our game with that, and that definitely killed us with them. Yeah, she's just a strong player all around, defensively, always there.
Disappointed. Now, when you heard that she broke her thumb, is that something you're like, oh wow, that's going to make it a little easier, or you get a little disappointed?
Yeah,
like
it would
it's kind of
definitely make it easier for us. And I checked the stats one day, and I saw that she had nothing there, and they lost, and I was like, what's going on, you know?
Yep. Zoe, how did you hurt your thumb? Was it in basketball practice?
Yeah, it was practice. I went up for a layup, and my thumb smashed on a girl's hand. And, like, right then and there, I was like, whoa, like, something's bad. But I kept, like, running up and down the court, like, oh, like, maybe I jammed it. So I, like, pulled it out, like, thinking that it was jammed. So I, like, kept going up and down the court. I switched to my left side so I could, like, left-hand lay up something. But, like, we went for an extra, 3-4 hours later, and it's broken in, like, 2 places all the way to the joint. And
oh, that's too bad.
yeah.
Well, talk about Izzy's game.
Izzy's like, I don't know. She's like a different breed. I don't even know. She's like, you're on the court and it's like, oh, like Izzy Wilbur. It's like you don't know what to do. It's like she's gonna either like pull up in your face or like you gotta step back, wait for her to drive. But she's got everything. You just gotta stay in front of her.
She's becoming legendary. You think? Is that too much to say?
I mean, Wayne County probably legendary.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
For sure.
I'm not talking worldwide. I don't think she's a household name in Japan or anything, but certainly in Wayne County.
Oh, for sure.
Now, you guys are, on opposite sides of one of the biggest rivalries in all of Section 5, Clyde-Lyons, going back, 60, 70, I don't know how long it goes back, but it's a huge rivalry, partly because of your location right next door to each other, but, being in the same league, like Newark's pretty close to Lyons too, but you hardly ever play each other, where you guys are, Clyde and Lyons is in the same league. So, Taylor, just talk about the rivalry. Does it mean more when you play Lyons than other schools?
Yeah, especially this year that we're good finally. Because the past few years they've been we've gotten blown out.
Been one-sided games?
Yeah.
Yep. What happened this year's game? You played once so far, right?
Yeah, I went to overtime.
Yeah.
We lost by 4, I think.
Yeah, I talked to you the day after. That was the night you scored 1,000 points.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty cool. And how about the rivalry for you, Caiden?
It's always intense, you always get more hyped up before a Lions-Clyde game. You gotta bring your all, especially in their gym. It's a different type of environment. You just gotta be ready to play. It's always fun.
Bigger crowds.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So, Caiden, talk about Taylor and her game.
Taylor's a great player, especially with younger girls being up. I think she's a great leader. She stays composed, and she's great at driving, great at finishing from the line and layups, and she also has a nice shot. She's a really good player.
Especially on the left-hand side, right?
Yeah.
You prefer to go left. She's a lefty. Taylor, talk about Caiden.
Very aggressive. She's a good player. She can shoot, drive. Her defense is good.
Would you guys guard each other?
Yeah.
A little bit, yeah.
Normally? Okay. So, next thing I want to kind of do is talk about your programs, your teammates, your coaches. Izzy, let's start with you playing for Coach Krauser. What's it like? What's practices like?
We do a lot of shooting drills, but we get scrimmages, usually 4 games, go over what they're running, what we got to come out in. He's always on top of scouting other teams,
Does a good job scouting?
Yeah. He watch videos before games sometimes.
Okay, now talk about your teammates. You've had a whole you've been on varsity since 7th grade, so you've had so many different teammates. We've seen you play at the chiropractic college a few times when you used to play in that tournament. You made a half court. Well, actually, before I get to that, I don't think anybody's made as many half court shots as you have. How many half court shots have you made in games so far? I mean, I can think of 3.
I think around 6 or 7.
Yeah, it's you practice those?
Yeah, I love doing that before practice.
Yeah, letting them up, launching them up there.
It's fun.
So talk about your teammates this year.
Well, we're a little younger,
Mm-hmm.
but they've all had experience, so that's good.
And you're a junior, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you have 1 more year to go.
Yeah.
You've long passed 1,000 points, right?
Mm-hmm.
And who's the second option on your team for scoring?
Jenny Easling or Riley Schaefer. Yeah.
Okay.
Or any of them. I trust all of them with the ball.
Right. And so are you usually manning the point?
Yeah. Or Jessica Bolton will bring it up sometimes to, keep the pressure off me.
Mm-hmm.
Have a little, yeah.
And what do you find teams trying to do to stop you? Do you notice them trying any different strategies, double teams? Or
I haven't boxing ones a lot. But that's really it. Just boxing one.
Yeah, see a lot of boxing one. When you see the boxing one, what do you do different? Because you're still getting your points no matter what they're doing. So what do you try to do different to get open?
Screens.
Running
just
off
a bunch of screens. Running around also. Just running around. Losing them, backdoor cuts.
Do you do any conditioning outside of basketball, to try to stay in shape?
Yeah, physical conditioning, lifting.
How about just run? You run a lot, or?
Yeah, in between sets.
Okay, gotcha. How about you, Zoe? Talk about playing for Coach Florek.
I've always played for him since 8th grade, but he was my assistant coach 7th grade. So I've always been with him. He's a big part of ER as a whole. But it's always different from day to day. It's either a lot of practice or it's a lot of game preparation. We love to do just relax, go over what's going to happen the next day. But it's always different. But
So he's involved in the rec league and stuff too? Like
yeah, he's involved in everything.
Yeah.
He's always in school, just doing everything for everybody.
How about your teammates? Just talk about some of the girls you play with.
Samantha Lewis, she's stepped up like crazy. She's a sophomore. She's played since 8th grade on the team, on varsity. She's going to be she's improved so much within the last 1 to 2 years. But she's big. Lily Funk, our freshman point guard, she's 5'10". She's killing it. Mackenzie James, our only senior, she's really stepped up. But
And you're a junior?
Yeah.
Okay.
But she hurt herself recently, but we're a young team, so we're only graduating one, like I said, so we'll be pretty good next year.
All right. And Caiden, when I look at this Lyons team, the thing that's most impressive to me is, how deep it goes with really good players. And a lot of, like you said off the top, a lot of these girls have been on the team for a long time. So first of all, talk about Coach Bassett. What's practice with Coach Bassett like? I've been to a few of them when we're setting up for a game in Lyons and you guys are wrapping up your practices, but tell me what a practice with Coach Bassett's like.
Practice for us is always a lot of running. We like to do a lot of scrimmaging, pretty much high-intensity stuff to just keep us in shape and keep us running like we usually do.
Yep. And I mentioned you have a lot of great players on the team. Why don't you talk about them? Talk about some of your teammates.
Yeah, I mean, all of our teammates, it's crazy. I look at every single one of them, and they all contribute so much to our team we have. Amani Harder, who's a sophomore, she's stepped up so much, defensively and with offense. Caitlin McDonald, same thing, great offensive
Sophomore.
player. Yep, she can play anywhere. She's great. We got our seniors, Crystal, who, brings a lot of defensive edge. Mara rebounds, any of them, they just all contribute
Mara
so
Briggs?
much. Yep.
And Latavia
Blaisdell, she's
Yep.
one of our bigs. Yeah, she does great too.
And now you have a 7th grader on the team, right?
Jayla, yeah.
Jayla Bell. And the reason I bring her up isn't just that she's on the team, but she's really had some nice games for you guys, 4 category stats: scoring, rebounds, assists, steals. When did she come up to the team?
It's only been a few games, but
Yeah.
every game, she just, one thing about her, you don't know that she's a 7th grader. She plays so composed, and she's an amazing shooter and just lots of confidence and a great teammate. She's going to do great things.
So what was the decision to bring her up? Do you know? Did you guys talk about it and say, hey, we're going to bring up Jayla?
We were actually, down a few players that game, so we needed more bodies to play.
Right.
And then after playing, it was yeah, we need her.
We'll keep her up there. Okay, gotcha. Taylor, talk about Coach Dunn.
He's a good guy. He's new.
Yep.
He's been my coach the past 2 years. Our practices, we do a lot of plays, running, scrimmaging. We shoot.
And who's the second? Is there any other seniors on the team?
No.
Is there any other juniors on the team?
Yeah, there's Brooke Pelicano and Cheyenne.
And what's Cheyenne's last name?
Cheyenne.
So
Nichols,
yeah. And then how about sophomores?
Sophomores, we have Kelsey DeSano.
Yep, and then the rest are freshmen,
Yep.
right? And some great freshmen.
Yeah.
Well, talk about Kelsey first. What's her game like?
She can rebound. She boxes out, rebounds. That's pretty much it.
Works hard.
Yeah, she goes in the middle. She can shoot it from the foul line. She just turns and shoots.
Now, how about some of the freshmen? I know there's one of them that stood out.
Jada Larson.
Jada Larson. Yeah,
she's
seems
she's gonna be a really good player.
So talk about Jada.
She can do anything. She can shoot, drive. She rebounds very, very
She's
well.
tall for a freshman
Yeah.
too. And anybody else, any of the other freshmen you want to mention?
There's Kylie Paler and Ashlyn. They can shoot it. Yeah.
Yeah, it is an incredibly young team, and you guys are having a lot of success at a young age. It's so no matter what happens this year, I think as the lone senior on the team and such a young team, you're going to help to set the table for the future. These I think that group's going to do a lot of good things. After you're gone, unfortunately.
I'm excited to
but do you feel like you feel like a teacher almost?
Yeah.
And do you feel like a role model?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I'd say so. Before I forget, too, Taylor is the niece of Kevin Sharp, who calls a lot of games for us. He's our #1 color analyst here at Finger Lakes One. Do you ever tune in to watch? You probably don't miss a game he calls, right?
No, of course not.
And his brother, your dad, Tim Sharp, was
Yeah.
an outstanding athlete at Clyde-Savannah. He was, I think, he was the New York State Class C small schools football player of the year.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, so 1,000-point scorer, just like you guys, just like yourself. So you have a special mantle in the house where you guys have your 1,000-point balls or anything?
No.
All right. Okay, so we heard about your guys' overtime game. You guys had a really good game too, didn't you? So far this year, back when Zoe was still playing Red Creek in ER. Just do you remember how that game played out?
I think we were up first half, and then Zoe, like I said, she was on fire the second half.
And you guys won that game?
Yeah.
And so some of the we mentioned the Clyde Lyons rivalry, but Red Creek Ganonda and ER has been really good rivalries because since you've been on the team, and both those programs have been at the top of the standings recently. But who do you consider your biggest rival in Wayne County?
Northwest Wolcott or Ganonda for me. Yeah.
Okay, so Wolcott just because you're close. They're your big soccer rivals too, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And North Rose Wolcott, Ava Norris.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Quentin Norris's sister, I'm assuming. And who was the other? Tyler Norris, Quentin Norris. Yeah, that's a good family in basketball for sure.
Yeah.
And Ganonda rival. Talk about you guys have had some tough games over the past few years. Peyton Daffler and Emma Drake were in studio last year. They both graduated, right?
Yeah, last year.
Ganonda is that rivalry just because you both generally been good?
Yeah. I've always been like the top 2 in the league. So whenever we played them, it was a big game. See who was first. You know?
And Zoe, when you guys have Red Creek coming up on your schedule, what does Coach say in practice about trying to stop her?
You just got to stay in front of her. You can't lose her, or else she's gonna get a bucket. You just can't. You got to stay in front of her.
Right, like all game long.
Yeah.
Yep. And she's still gonna get hers. It's just trying to limit how many.
Yeah, pretty much.
Gotcha. Okay. What's the hardest place to play in Wayne County? What gym?
Probably Ganonda.
Ganonda's gym?
Just they pack their stands full of students. Like, you never know what's going to happen. But the game's always intense, but the crowd just getting into it makes it that much bigger.
Yeah, great student section for sure. How about you, Izzy? What's the hardest gym to go to?
Definitely Ganonda.
Ganonda?
Yeah, their student section is very big.
How about you girls?
I agree.
Everybody says Ganonda, huh?
Ganonda, yeah.
What about the Atwood? That place is
It's
Lyons
cramped.
Court.
I don't like that gym.
It's so small.
Yeah, it's so cramped.
Yep, this court's a little smaller. How about this? Who's got the best uniforms in Wayne County?
I think we do.
Lions?
I think
Just the
we do.
maroon and white. You like that,
I love
huh?
it, yeah.
Okay. Taylor, you guys got new uniforms this year, I think?
Yeah, I don't really like them.
You don't like them?
No.
So who
I like Lions.
You like Lions too? Wow,
Yeah.
Clyde player said you like Lions uniforms. That could be a big headline tomorrow. Izzy, how about you? Favorite uniforms?
I like ours. I like our black away ones. Definitely.
Yeah, it is. It's a nice red-black combo, a little white for sure. And now, Zoe, your school colors are a little different.
Yeah, a little
Like
brown, orange, and white. Yeah.
But what do you like your colors?
Our uniforms are a lot better this year. Our old ones were so ugly.
We used to have pinstripes, right?
Yeah, we used to have pinstripes, and we had polka dots last year.
Really?
Yeah, I don't want to throw anybody under the bus, but bad decision there.
Okay.
But they're a lot better this year.
So what do they look like this year?
They're just brown and white. We kind of got rid of orange. But they're a lot cleaner. No stripes, no polka dots, no zigzag.
Gotcha.
Straight up.
Yeah, goes back to traditional. So who has the best uniforms in Wayne County?
I think this year we definitely do.
You like it?
Uniforms are so much better than years past. I'm just a bit biased, I guess.
Okay, well, no, that's fine. Nothing wrong with that. How much do you follow the boys' team over at East Rochester?
Oh, I go to pretty much every home game for sure and any close away games. But it's hard because ER is so far away from anybody else. Our closest game is 20 minutes away at Gananda.
Yeah. Then when you got to go to Red Creek,
it's like
you
an
ever
hour
take
15.
a book a flight to get there?
Pretty much. Direct flight.
So your boys' teams this year is struggling a little bit?
A bit, but we're pretty young. We only have one senior, and the Dom boys have really stepped up this year.
Now, they're great soccer players, right?
Yeah, I think Chuck Dom was athlete of the year for soccer, something crazy, and Russ, he's always been amazing.
Yep. All right. Izzy, I'd ask you to talk about your boys' team, but there isn't one. So that was so disappointing to me because I think the Red Creek boys program over the past 5-6 years with Nick Klein and Griffin Klein and Jake Slobe, they had some really good teams, and then all of a sudden now you don't even have a team. Do you know why there isn't a team? There just wasn't interest? Or?
Jack Smith, he went to Hannibal. Yeah, so better opportunities there, better team.
Right.
You know. So now we just got a JV team, and one of our boys, Noah Fisher, plays for Wolcott varsity.
Oh, so you think that the Red Creek boys will be back next year when the JV team?
I think so. They were a pretty good JV team.
Okay. Now, I should also notice, I mentioned Jake Slobe, Red Creek's all-time leading scorer, but you're about to pass his point total.
Nick Klein?
Yeah.
Or Jake Slobe?
Jake Slobe, I think.
Slobe?
I think.
Yeah.
Then it's tough to
You
get
might. They were
stats on
both
Red
pretty
Creek
good, yeah.
career scorers, but 1365, I think, would be the total. How many points do you have so far? Do you know? You keep track? You go home and write it in the book every night after every game?
I think about 1,700.
Okay.
17 or 1,800, yeah.
It's a lot of points, that's for sure. How about your boys' teams, Lyons and Clyde? Let's start. Taylor, do you remember Drew Carnevale and Derek Chance? Obviously, they've only been gone for a couple of years, and Marcus Chance, and those are great teams. How about, do you remember Cam DeSano and Jomaine Bogans and all those teams? Some real great teams. But this year's team is kind of starting to rebuild a little bit with McKinney and Cam Chance and company. Just talk about your boys' team.
They're doing all right compared to last year. I think this year's definitely better for them.
Yeah, they're getting a little better. And
Cam's having a good year.
Yeah, first game I called, when he got on the court, when I saw Clyde, I was like, man, that guy's
he's
an athlete,
really
right?
Mm-hmm.
Jeez. Caiden, now, do you know who Damon Hunter is? Maybe a little before your time?
That name.
Damon Hunter and Chris P.A. and there are some great players, but you're probably more familiar with, obviously, Justice Smith and David Weaver, a couple kids that graduated. They have 2 sectional titles. So this year, Lyons goes for a 3rd sectional title on the boys' side. Just talk about the boys' team.
Yeah, I know. After Justice graduated, I think some people assume that there might be a downfall with Lyons, but they haven't missed a step. Such amazing players, even with Tootie being hurt. We just have such a deep team. They're all amazing. The younger boys, the older boys, Ben Kemp, all of them, they just step up. They play great basketball. It's so fun to watch.
Are you better friends with any of those boys, and anybody on the boys' team than others? Like you're a senior, Benji's the only other senior.
Yeah, I'm friends with Ben. We're pretty close.
So you guys call him Ben, never call him Benji?
Not really, no.
Did you miss the mustache? He used to have a mustache.
We joke about that a lot.
He shaved
Bad
it.
company, yeah.
Bad company, Benji kept. All right, but before we move ahead and talk about some of the action this week, exam week, so there wasn't a ton of games, but there was some important games. Just now, your injury obviously changed things.
Yeah.
For East Rochester, you're trying to get back for sectionals. What are your team goals? This year. What were they kind of going into the season, and has it changed a little bit?
I think now we're taking it game by game. We were thinking the season as a whole when I was still in, because it was just a lot easier, like, defensive-wise, because I was I was huge in the paint. But now without me, we're just taking it, like, day by day, like, trying to prevent more injuries after another starter got out with an ankle injury. But it's real hard.
Oh, so two, not only you, but who's the other one?
Mackenzie James. She's our only senior.
And Caiden, now you're, like I said, this team has kind of been building to a certain point now where it's kind of a lot of pieces are in place, and your team is a senior. What are your team goals? What would be a successful versus a disappointing season for you guys?
Our number one goal, obviously, is to get the banner. Our coach always tells us, anything less of that will be kind of a disappointment. We're held to a high standard, and that's a goal that I think we really can reach. Are
you held to a high standard because you play for Lyons and all the banners that are in that gym, especially on the boys' side, and a lot of history on the girls' side, too?
Yeah,
more recently, boys.
She'll take us to look at all the girls' banners and say, it's been a while since this has happened, but she shows us our place, like where our banner is going to be, and we kind of visualize and manifest that. And that's our main goal, yeah.
All right. How about you, Taylor? What are your team goals? Again, young team.
Yeah.
I think exceeding expectations this year. Is if your goals from the beginning of the season change now in the middle of the season, or
no? We want league champs. We're trying to.
No, you're right there.
Yeah, and sectionals.
Yeah.
They haven't won one in Clyde in a while, so that'd be nice.
On the girls' side.
Yeah, on the girls' side.
Yeah. Do you have any idea when the last one was?
2006.
2006. Yeah, it has been a while.
Yeah.
So Izzy, all the great individual accomplishments. But one thing I got to ask you: last year you were in the news a lot. There was a suspension, and it was right around sectional time. Has going through that whole experience changed you or made you a better player, or just talk about how that experience was? Being on TV in Rochester, news channels and stuff.
It's definitely changed me as a player. I got to keep my composure a lot more. Refs definitely dial in a little more on me, but
so you think this year, because of that, the refs are dialed in on you going into the game?
No, not all of them, no.
Okay.
No.
So great individual player on a team that's done well since you're in your time there, but what are your goals as a team? What would be a disappointing season for you this year as a junior?
A disappointing season would be not winning leagues, I think.
So league number one, and then what about sectionals?
Sectionals, as far as we can get. Keep it going.
Yeah, but not really setting any expectations, just one game at a time?
Yeah, one game at a time.
All right. Well, girls, I'm going to shift gears. We're going to go through some of the action in the leagues. I might ask you some questions as I go through here. Real quick, but first I got to tell you about Generations Bank. Celebrating 150 years of serving and supporting our hometowns. Visit mygenbank.com for the best choices in checking, savings, home equities, mortgages, and much more. Generations has been the Finger Lakes Bank since 1870. Generations Bank member FDIC. So I'm going to start in the Finger Lakes East League. Boys, was a pretty big week. I'm going to just show you the standings here real quick. The game of the year so far was Wayne in Geneva, in Wayne on Friday night. Finger Lakes one was there. Paul Russo and Nick Felice had the call. And I think it's about time to start giving Wayne the proper due credit. Now, they've beaten Geneva twice. Was really impressed last week, 2 weeks ago, when we saw Geneva really hand it to Newark, and then they handed it to Waterloo, and was like, wow, this Geneva team's good. They're a little older, more experienced than Wayne, but I got to tell you, just watching Wayne handle their business at home in a game that was essentially for the league title against Geneva on Friday night was really impressive. So you see there in the standings, Wayne's now 2 games clear of Geneva, 3 of Waterloo and Newark. They beat Geneva twice. They beat Waterloo. They beat Newark. They obviously beat Penn Yan, Miners, Palmag, and Mid-Lakes. So Wayne really took control on Friday night with that win. And you hear a lot about Tyler Reynolds and Mason Blankenberg, but Eli Schichtel with 18 points. And, big game for the big guy for Wayne, going up against athletes like Devin Martin. Finished with 21 points. Nick Askin hit fourth quarter 3-pointers to try to get him back into it at the end, but it wasn't enough, and just really impressed with the Wayne Eagles. Going into that game, I really thought that was kind of the one game that Geneva lost in overtime to Wayne in Geneva, and I thought that maybe the tables might turn, but I was wrong, and that's why I think it's time to just start looking at Wayne as the undisputed kings of the Finger Lakes East this year. Now, another game this week that was pretty important for the Class B1 boys was Waterloo went to Hornell and got a 4-point win, 46-42. Knocked Hornell out of the top spot in B1. I think it kind of gave everybody a little confidence going into sectionals now that Waterloo could beat them. Yeah, well, then Newark, Geneva, both B1 teams will be able to handle Hornell as well. So a big win for the Indians. And, not only Hornell, though, in B1, Batavia is a team to look out for. Greece, Odyssey is a team to look out for. That's going to be a great tournament, the B1 sectionals. Also, Penn Yan and Minders, if we looked at those standings, they're out of the league. Racer 5 back. Minders is 5-7 on the year. Penn Yan 7-6. Not that great, but in Class B2, they're both on the top half of the bracket, and they both picked up some key wins to stay on the top half of that bracket. Penn Yan beat Midlake 60-54. Devin Gerhardt had 15 points. Mason Coover had 13. Kyle McCann led Midlakes with 20. So big win there, close game. And then Minders hosted Palmac on Friday night and got a 63-50 win. Troy Cabot, 25 points. Jared King, 17. Mike Bogart, 10. Mike Bogart with a pregame dunk. That's a technical foul. You can't dunk in the pregame. You should come before the refs get out, but once the refs get out, they're going to probably... so he dunked in the pregame. Palmac got 2 free throws and the ball and the possession arrow. So, I don't know, any of you girls ever dunk in the pregame?
I did once.
Of course.
I did once.
But Minders picks up the win, and again, Penn Yan, Minders, both legitimate sectional contenders in Class B2, even though they're taking their lumps in the East this year. Let's take a quick look now at the Finger Lakes West boys standings. And let me get this up here. This is about right. Get it. Okay, there we go. Red Jacket, it's all Red Jacket, 9-0. Last Thursday night we were there to see them just run through Bloomfield, 80-44. Chase Rizzo, he was here last week in studio with me along with 3 of his teammates. 27 points, 7 rebounds. Matt Record, 14 points. Andrew DeMori, 8 points, 10 rebounds. Adam Borst, 10 assists. Adam Sheehan led Bloomfield with 18, but that was, Honeoye is sitting there 3 games back. They could knock off Red Jacket potentially, but it won't be enough to win the Finger Lakes West. Honeoye did beat Romulus on the road 52-40, and then we're talking about C1 schools here for the most part. Marcus Whitman's in there too, but CG Finney's towards the bottom half of that B or C1 bracket right now, and they went to Bloomfield and they needed a last-second shot to win from Marcus Robinson, who finished with 45 points, 20 rebounds. Freshman Marcus Robinson, game winner to sink Bloomfield, 45 points, 20 rebounds. But if you're Red Jacket or Marcus Whitman and you get to the quarterfinals, you got to play CG Finney. That's a tough draw for sure. With Marcus Robinson, 56 points in the game this year, 45 the other night. It's crazy. There weren't any Wayne County boys games this past week for exam week, but I can pop up those standings for you here real quick. Again, Lyons. Now, Ganonda's within reach, but Lyons played Ganonda once, beat him pretty bad, and now Ganonda has to come to the Atwood. Be surprised if Lyons didn't end up, holding serve and winning this league. And C2 Lions getting on to, I think it's C1 in there with Whitman and Red Jacket as well. East Rochester. North Rose Wolcott is up in B2 maybe this year, but and even Clyde-Savannah is in the C2 with Lyons. Has the talent to make a run in sectionals, and Williamson's much improved as well in Wayne County. And I did mention Marcus Whitman playing independent. They played at Livonia 2 nights ago, Saturday night, Friday night, and lost 46-44. That was kind of a little shock, and that could actually hurt Whitman in the standings. We're hoping for Red Jacket Whitman in the Blue Cross Arena for a final in Class C1. They need to be on opposite sides of the bracket for that to happen, and this loss to Livonia could cost Whitman that second seed. Red Jacket's got the top seed pretty much wrapped up. But a good game in Livonia. Liam Prendergrass with a double-double, 17 points, 10 rebounds in the loss for Whitman. So now let's kick it over to the girls. But first I'll tell you about Little John Orthodontics. Dr. Rod Littlejohn and Dr. Liz Barbie are proud to support our area high school athletes. Check out Dr. Rod and Dr. Liz online at littlejohnortho.com. So, girls' side of things, Monday night there's a pretty interesting game in Seneca Falls. Clyde at Minders. And I was interested to see this game. And it was close early. Minders eventually pulled away 52-28. Mackenzie Higby had 15 points. Bridget Miller, 10 points, 10 rebounds. Megan Marley, 8 points. Kylie Paler for Clyde had 8. And when you go and play a bigger school like Minders, you guys are C2, they're B2. They're a young team too. How much you know about some of those girls at Minders? Nothing. So you was like first time seeing them. You didn't never heard of Mackenzie Higby or Bridget Miller. Mm-hmm. What were your impressions of that team?
They were pretty good. We didn't have a very good game as a team. Mm-hmm. We could have played better, but they did good. They have good big girls.
Yep.
3-point shooters.
Yeah, a lot of girls can shoot it for sure. And we look at those Wayne County girls standings off the top. Oh, actually, I'm doing Finger Lakes East right now. So let's look at those Finger Lakes East standings. If I can. It's a little annoying this morning with this thing. There we go. So in the Finger Lakes East, you got Palmac at 8-1. They had a big win against Minders. The Minders girls played them tough on the road Friday night. Palmac outlasted them. They've beaten Waterloo once. They hold a 1-game lead over Waterloo in the league standings. And then the Mid-Lakes girls are hanging around too. They had a lot of losses to Graduation, but they're still within reach. And then you have Minders, Wayne, and Penn Yan. Now, Wayne being an A2 school, it's going to be tough for them in sectionals. But Minders and Penn Yan, same thing as the boys' side. The girls have legitimate shots at sectional titles, even though they're overall records hovering around 500. And looking at some of the other games this week, Penn Yan girls are tough, and they went to Mid-Lakes and almost came out with a win. Mid-Lakes won by 2, 54-52. For Penn Yan, Ashley Sisson had 14.7 rebounds. Jenna Kerbo, 13.6 rebounds. Sierra Harrison, 12. And then for Mid-Lakes, Kara Walker, 23 points, 10 rebounds. Younger sister Kaylee Walker, 14 points, 10 rebounds. So two sisters, 2 double-doubles. That's not bad. Do you guys know anything about Kara Walker for Mid-Lakes?
Yeah.
Yeah, talk about her a little bit.
AAU with her, she is aggressive everywhere, does everything, can shoot, drive, defense.
She's definitely
a hustler.
Yeah, big hustler, type of girl you would love to have on your team. How about her younger sister? You ever meet her?
Mm-hmm.
She's tall.
Yeah, she is. She's taller than Kara, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, and I think she's in 9th grade now. She took that trip to the state Final Four on the roster last year, so she got some good experience there as an 8th grader. But how much do you follow like the state tournament at that point? Have you ever gone to watch when a few years ago South Seneca made a state run, and then last 2 years Mid-Lakes got there. Mm-hmm. Anybody ever pay attention to the state tournament?
No, but I know a bunch of the teams in it, like South Seneca. I play with the triplets from there, and
the Fletchers?
Yeah, the Fletchers, and then Logan Shawless.
Mm-hmm.
And I play with the Walkers for AAU since I was 7th grade.
On their team
8th
with
grade.
them?
Yeah.
Okay.
For Shock.
For Shock? Okay.
Yeah.
You like AAU?
Yeah, it's good for the summer and for off season for sure.
Yeah, it keeps you playing.
Yeah.
And you get to play in tournaments, be kind of competitive about it.
Yeah, and you see a bunch of people from not from who you're going to play in high school, so it's good to see different people.
Yeah, absolutely. How about you guys? Ever pay attention to the girls' state tournament in Hudson Valley?
Not as much, no.
Well, if you happen to not be there playing, it's a fun trip to take, I think, especially if there's some teams from around here that did make it that far. So let's go to actually that Minders. I was at that Palmac Minders girls game at Palmac Friday night, and I was really impressed with their defense from the Minders girls against a bigger, more experienced Palmac team. But in the end, Palmac pulled away. Andra Savage, 22 points, 13 rebounds. Katie Smythe, 10. Tatum Smith, 8. Sophie Lyko had 6. For Minders, Megan Marley had 10, and Mackenzie Higby had 9 points, 5 rebounds. Low-scoring game, but it was close to the end. Finger Lakes West girls. Let's see what we got here as we head into the last week of January. Red Jackets made a late surge to get back into things. Marcus Whitman looking good. Of course, Marcus Whitman girls not going independent. They're in the Finger Lakes West still. Romulus girls are improved. Dundee girls are improved. In South Seneca, it's not in a familiar place there at the bottom of the standings. They've had a stranglehold on that league for the past 4 years, but still trying to get better. They're a little undersized, and Bloomfield and HAC can, despite their records, HAC's played a lot of tough games. They've got some good kids. You know much about the HAC girls, Zoe?
We played them in I think they were our first game. We played them, but I don't think they had 2 of their starters when we played them. But we had a good game. I guess
that's up there in your neck of the woods there.
It was probably one of our closest games.
Right. So one interesting game on the West girls this week was Wheatland Chili beat South Seneca 41-32. The only reason I mention that is in Class C3, South Seneca is currently the 13 seed. Wheatland Chili is the 4 seed, and it was a 9-point game. Wheatland Chili then went at HAC, and they won by 3 against HAC. Now, HAC is the 15th seed in Class C2 girls. So that, to me, shows that this whole thing is wide open for Class C2 girls. You know, when the 15th seed can play with a 4 seed in a 3-point game, Amelia Gugino, 21 points, 12 rebounds. Eliza Nikoja, 12 points, 11 rebounds in that one. And then in one of their second game without you, Zoe, East Rochester played Red Jacket, and Red Jacket won 55-43. Were you at that game still?
I was at the bench.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. They had number 12. I don't know what her name was, but her shooting was great.
Sydney Close, probably, I think.
Yeah. They were tough. I mean, it would have been different if I was in, but there's nothing you could do about it. But didn't they lose, Sarah Van Aken?
Sarah Van Aken, state pentathlon champion.
Yeah, she goes, Ole Miss?
Yeah, she goes run track at Ole Miss.
Yeah.
Yep. Good knowledge, though, Zoe. Very, very good. Really bringing it today. Marcus Whitman at HAC was again. Now there's Whitman. Again, they're a C1 school, but they beat HAC 59-40. Ari Beverly 19, Katie Deathridge 14, Maddie Ryan 9. Wayne County girls showed the standings off the top, and Lyons played Edison, a Class A school, 51-19. Caiden, was that something you were surprised that you were able to blow them out like that, the bigger school?
I watched some of their game film, and we kind of looked at the record. We have a general idea, so we just came ready to play, and that's what happened.
You weren't surprised?
Not as much, no.
Gotcha, yeah. Latavia Blaisdell, 10.7 rebounds. You had 8 points. Mary Briggs, 8. You really spread it around. Morrison, 6.6 rebounds. Jay LaBelle, 7th grader, 6 points, 4 assists, 7 rebounds. And then, let's see here. Red Creek twice this week on exam week. You hosted, or no. No, just one game. Beat Bloomfield, right? No, 2 games. Bloomfield and Zutes. You hosted Bloomfield and you went at Zutes. So, Izzy, I got you here with a 56-39 win over Bloomfield. 41 points, 13 rebounds, 10 steals. Triple-double. How many triple-doubles do you have? You keep track?
Just one versus Gananda.
So this was your second career triple-double? Mm-hmm. No, I thought you had more. This season.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. And then at Zutes, you guys won 67-32, 27 points for you there, 5 assists, 5 rebounds, 8 steals. Jenny Easling, 17 points that game. How does Jenny score those 17? Inside, outside? How's she do it?
All around. Mostly outside. And then she gets some steals, easy layups,
Mm-hmm.
Our 12 helps get steals.
And Tiana White led Zutes with 20. And then, it was East Rochester actually played twice. So, Zoe, you had to go to Gananda, sit on the bench, and watch your team lose by 4.
In overtime.
Yeah. That's got to be tough, right?
Yeah, for sure.
What role can you play, like, even though you can't be on the court? Are you involved in the team huddles?
For sure. I always lead the team huddle before the game at practice. Just got to get their head in the game, make sure they're ready.
Yep. Well, they were ready that game.
Yeah, Gananda can be intimidating, but if you're ready for it, it's fine.
Sure. So I'm going to kick it back. We're going to give the power rankings. First, I got to tell you about DeSanto Propane, offering monthly billing and fixed rates. Get stable pricing all year long. Learn more at DeSantoPropane.com. Since 1937, the difference has been DeSanto. You should, Taylor, when you're back in practice, you should tell Haley. Kelsey. Is she related to the DeSanto Propane folks? Mm-hmm. Yeah. You should say, tell her since 1937, the difference has been DeSanto. See what she says to that. Power rankings. You guys know what the power rankings are? Anybody? You follow the power rankings on this podcast? I found that the girls don't care as much about the power rankings as the boys. The boys, they really get upset sometimes with these things if they're not ranked as high as they think. But start out with the girls. For this week, Palmax stays at the top spot, Waterloo 2, Mid-Lakes 3, so all Finger Lakes East, and then Lyons way up to number 4. And, no offense to the Wayne County League or the Finger Lakes West League, the teams at the top of the leagues have always been tough, but as a whole, the Finger Lakes East bigger schools, especially on the girls' side, tend to dominate these rankings. But you guys are up there in the top 4, and followed by Whitman at 5. Who you play Whitman this year? Coming up? Marcus
we played
Whitman?
them once.
You played him once? The boys played him twice. You played him once. How did that go?
We lost. It was a close game.
Yeah,
I think we could have won that.
2 losses this year, right?
Mm-hmm.
You won 10 in a row, though, now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Up to 10.
Minders 6, again, saw their record around 500. They beat Penn Yan the one-time head-to-head. That's why they're probably one ahead of Penn Yan at 7. Red Creek 8, Red Jacket 9, and Clyde-Savannah 10. And Taylor, I never expect to see Clyde-Savannah girls in the top 10 this year. So, I think, being you as a senior, you guys are really doing great. And Izzy is 8. It's tough to say because, so you guys lost to Minders when you played them last year. Does that look like something you agree with, or do you think that maybe your team should be higher than 8? Or you don't care? It doesn't mean anything.
I think we're at a good spot. Maybe up a little more, but...
Who would you move down, though? Lyons? Well, if you're going to have a chance to play Lyons one more time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the second half in the Wayne County, the last few weeks are going to be great. That league title could go to any one of the 4 or even 5 teams with that. Gananda got back into it, I guess, with a win the other night. Switch it over here to the boys' power rankings. And there we go. Wayne, of course, stays at the top spot. Lyons went from 3 to 2 this week with Geneva's loss. And Lyons won last night as well. I can't remember who they played.
Williamson.
Williamson, yeah. So Lyons up to 2. Geneva drops to 3. The Red Jacket boys, I'm telling you, these guys are legit. So much fun to watch, up and down. I mean, it was like a highlight film the other night against Bloomfield, one after another. transition baskets, alley-oops. It was so much fun to watch. I'm really impressed with Red Jacket. And that's the question, Ken. A team like Red Jacket out of the FL West, can they compete with a FL East team like Geneva or Wayne? So really excited. And, of course, they're on a mission for a sectional title with this group of seniors. And also on a mission is the Whitman Wildcats, who come in at 5 after that loss to Livonia. Last week they were ahead of Red Jacket. Now I think I got to give the red edge to Red Jacket. But very similar teams. Would love to see them face off in sectionals. There's a good chance that could happen. And very similar in just their style of play, up and down. A lot of fun. Waterloo's up to 6. Nice win over Hornell, Waterloo. Statement win for the Finger Lakes East. Newark went to Hornell. They couldn't get the win, but you guys did. So congratulations. Newark 7, Penn Yan 8, Minders 9, and Gananda 10. Round out the power rankings for the boys. So I'm not surprised we're going to go a little over here. We're almost 5 minutes to 11. Before I tell you where FL1 Sports is going to be this week, I got to tell you about Bill Cram Chevrolet. All roads lead to Bill Cram Chevrolet on 5 and 20 between Seneca Falls and Waterloo. Browse their full inventory of new and used vehicles at BillCramChevrolet.com. Tomorrow, Monday, Romulus at Clyde. We'll be there, 7:30. Nate Sharman, Jason Hunt on FL1 Radio. Wednesday night in Waterloo, full broadcast, full video. Mid-Lakes girls at the Waterloo girls. That should be a great one. Dave Barnick and Mike Alessio on the call. And then Friday night, it's Minders, Waterloo, girls, boys, doubleheader in Waterloo, in the SPO Center. Dave Barnick and Mike Alessio will be back to call that one too. And then I think next week, going ahead to Tuesday, we got Lyons at Marcus Whitman. I'll call that with Kevin Sharp. Full broadcast from Rushville. And then later that week on Friday, Wayne at Waterloo. Paul Russo and Nick Felice will be on the call for that one. So some good games coming up here as we move towards the end of the regular season. I want to remind you, too, if you want to support our mission, what we do here at Finger Lakes 1, you can become a patron at patreon.com/FL1, patreon.com/FL1. You can pledge anything you want, $2, $5 a month, $5,000 a month if you happen to have the means. We'll take it. It'll help us provide more coverage than we're doing already here at Finger Lakes 1, more live games. And so back to the girls now for a second here before we get out of here. I'm going to do quick fire questions. We do this every time we have student athletes in studio. I'm just going to ask you a question, give me an answer, and we'll start, Zoe, with you. And I want to know the best player in Wayne County, girls. Quick fire.
Quick fire.
Yeah.
Probably Izzy.
Izzy? Okay,
Yeah.
well, I'm not surprised at that answer. How about you guys? Best player in Wayne County?
Izzy.
Besides Izzy. That's the easy answer. The second best player in Wayne County.
Caiden.
Oh, there's a good one, yeah. Caiden, what do you think?
Depending on the day, I'll put me or Izzy top.
Okay. Besides you or Izzy?
Taylor.
Okay, there you go. And Taylor, yeah. And so Izzy, who besides anybody in this room, who's the best player in Wayne County? Not counting anybody in this room.
Maybe Eva Norris. She's got a pretty good all-around game.
North Rose. Okay. Favorite sports movie?
Sports movie.
I'll come back to you.
Okay.
Favorite sports movie?
Coach Carter.
Coach Carter?
Coach Carter.
Coach Carter? What is that? Let's Remember the Titans? No, Coach Carter. Coach Carter's a
Have you ever heard of that?
Yeah.
You have?
I love
have.
it.
I don't see many movies. Okay, how about you, Caiden?
I'll remember the Titans.
Remember the Titans? Zoe, got a favorite sports movie?
Any 30 for 30s, like any of them on.
Oh, you like 30
yeah,
for 30s
yeah.
at ESPN.
Yeah.
Those
Yeah,
are
yeah.
good. Okay. Sticking with you, Android or iPhone?
iPhone.
Yeah, and you guys?
iPhone.
And Izzy?
iPhone.
Yeah, everybody likes the iPhone. I'm not a fan. I got an Android. Favorite place to eat in Red Creek?
Fat Frankie's.
Fat
Pizza.
Frankie's?
Pizzeria, yeah.
Okay. That sounds like a good name for a pizzeria. You guys? Favorite place to eat?
There's not really anywhere to eat in Clyde.
Well,
I like Olive Garden.
okay. That's Fair enough,
Kind of
Caden.
fun,
In Lyons, definitely Gators.
EB Gators.
Mhm.
That was exciting when they opened up, right?
Yeah, it was.
Did you ever make the trip down the road to Tom Walls in
Yeah.
Newark?
It's okay.
I love Tom Williams.
Favorite place to eat?
Probably Ferraris, the pizza place in ER.
Ferrari's
Yeah.
Pizzeria?
Yeah,
Okay. And what do you like to get there?
just the pizza or the wings. It's
Pizza or
always
wings?
good. They have a cookie. It's insane.
They have an insane cookie?
Yeah.
What's your favorite sport to watch?
To watch basketball.
Like on TV?
Yeah, basketball.
And college or pro?
Both, but right now college.
Do you have a favorite team?
Duke.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Wow, how come?
The 30 for 30 with Christian Leitner.
Oh man!
Everybody hates him, but
Yeah, that same thing made me not
Yeah.
like Duke.
Yeah.
But that made you like Duke.
Yeah.
Well, I could have a whole show about my dislike for Duke, but that's fair enough. They got a good girls program.
Yeah.
They just beat Syracuse actually this past week in the Dome. Favorite sports to watch?
Basketball.
Most in college or pro or both?
I like
College.
both.
Favorite teams?
I love Duke. Love Duke.
Do you know that your hometown is the same hometown as Jim Boeheim,
Yes.
coach of Syracuse? But you like Duke.
I love Duke.
Okay, well, I'm not going to argue with you. Taylor? No, probably.
Duke.
Duke?
I like
Oh,
Duke.
man, I'm going to have to, right after the show, I'm going to call your Uncle Kevin, and we're going to have a long talk about this. Izzy, don't say that your favorite team's Duke, please.
No,
Okay.
UConn.
UConn? Well, that's almost as bad, but at least that's reasonable. Man, no Syracuse fans up here tonight, huh? All right, that's okay. Who's going to win the Super Bowl? You got the 49ers,
49ers.
and the Kansas
I'm
City
gonna go with
Chiefs.
them.
You're going with the Niners.
Yeah.
Got a pick for the Super Bowl?
I don't really watch football.
Don't care? All right. Well,
49ers.
Zoe?
The Chiefs.
The Chiefs?
Yeah.
But you're just hoping for maybe a 30 for 30 down the road about the Pat Mahomes.
Oh, of course.
Okay. Favorite TV show or series or net show, anything? What do you watch?
Like Grey's Anatomy or The Office.
Oh, old school, huh? The Office now is a resurgence. My daughter's in 8th grade. She's watched every single episode. I watched it, I don't know when it first came out, maybe 15, 20 years ago, a long time ago. Used to watch it live. Favorite TV show?
I love The Office too, and like
Grey's
Criminal
Anatomy.
Minds.
Criminal Minds? What did you say,
Grey's.
Taylor? Grey's?
Anatomy, yeah.
Wow, man, you guys are retro with the TV shows. Izzy, got a favorite
Criminal
show?
Minds. I was thinking that.
Criminal Minds, okay. What's your favorite dinner? You know, when you sit down to eat, you could have one thing. Sometimes on the birthday, the parents will say, I'll make you your favorite dinner. What would that be?
My mom makes really good zucchini boats.
Zucchini boats. What
Yeah.
goes in there? Sausage or?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Ground up sausage.
All right. Shout out to your mom for the
Yeah.
zucchini boats. How about you guys?
I like chicken parm.
Chicken parm? Any particular one? Homemade or at a restaurant?
Homemade. My mom makes it.
Your mom makes a good chicken parm? Okay, Caden?
I like steak and mashed potatoes. That's my favorite.
Yeah, okay, that's a hearty meal. Zoe, you got a favorite dinner?
Any form of potato, mashed potato, hash brown, tater tot, anything.
Tater tot, okay.
Of course.
Do you like the twice baked potato? You ever have a
Not my
twice
favorite, but
baked? Not your favorite?
I mean, it's not bad.
Okay, well, I just thought if the potatoes were your favorite. I think twice baked is
know,
like
but-
the Rolls Royce
like-
of baked potatoes.
No, like mashed potatoes, hash browns, anything.
French fries and tater tots.
Of course.
Okay. Favorite dessert?
Oh, the cookie from Ferraris.
Okay. Is it like a chocolate chip
It's
cookie?
like chocolate. It's like it puts in the pizza oven and then they put the ice cream on top. They load it up.
Okay, well, we're going to invoice Ferraris for the promotion that we're giving them this show. Going to send them a bill. Favorite dessert?
Cheesecake.
Cheesecake?
Deep fried Oreos.
Deep fried Oreos. Like, that's some state fair stuff there. Like
Yeah.
deep fried Oreos. Where do you get them around here?
I make them.
You make them yourself?
Yeah.
Wow. You like to cook?
Not really, but
Just could throw
it
some
tastes good. So
deep fried
yeah,
Oreo,
so
though.
good.
Okay. Izzy, you got a favorite dessert?
Cheesecake.
Cheesecake? Yeah, I agree. Cheesecake's pretty good. You got a favorite teacher in school? You want to give a shout
Miss
out
Phillips.
to? Miss
I love Miss
Phillips.
Phillips.
What class is that?
She does geometry.
Do you like math and geometry
No.
or no? But you do like
No.
Miss Phillips. Okay.
I just love Miss Phillips.
Gotcha. Favorite teachers?
Miss Ruckard,
Okay.
math teacher.
Math?
Mr. Hartwell, criminal justice.
Criminal justice. That's a course of study?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Is that a BOCES program or?
No, it's just like an extra.
It's like an elective type of
Yeah.
deal? Okay. Criminal justice, man. They know what's going on over there in Lyons. Zoe, you got a favorite class?
Mr. Gears, it's calculus.
Calculus?
Yeah.
And do you enjoy math or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I've
All right.
always been into math.
Favorite breakfast cereal?
Like I put chocolate granola, but eat it as like cereal.
Okay.
Really good.
Nice. Creative? Breakfast cereal. Got a favorite one?
It's weird, but I like Cheerios that are like extra soggy. Like
You let them
no
soak for a
crunch.
while?
You gotta wait 5 minutes before you eat it.
Alright.
Yeah.
Okay. I like Lucky Charms.
Lucky Charms?
Yeah.
So you like the little marshmallows in your cereal?
Yeah, I save them for last. I eat the other
Eat around
things.
them?
Yeah.
Okay. Learning a lot about you girls today. Some weird stuff. Izzy, you got a favorite breakfast cereal?
Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Yeah, that is pretty phenomenal. Especially when you get down towards the end and it's all cinnamon milk. What's your favorite holiday besides Christmas?
Easter.
You like Easter? Okay. How about you guys besides Christmas?
Thanksgiving.
Easter?
Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like Halloween because the movies.
Okay. Zoe, you got a favorite holiday besides Christmas?
Probably Halloween.
Halloween?
Yeah.
Okay.
Candy's pretty good.
All right, let's see. Not too much going on here. But it's Girl Scout cookie season. Do you have a favorite Girl Scout cookie?
Oh, I don't buy Girl Scout cookies.
No?
More,
No.
but like the popcorn, like the Boy Scouts popcorn.
Okay. You guys have a favorite Girl Scout cookie?
The Samoas.
Okay.
Thin Mints.
Thin Mints, yep. I get a lot of that. Izzy, you got a favorite Girl Scout cookie?
The ones with coconut.
Those are Samoas, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are good.
Okay. All right, just a couple more things here. Izzy, what's your best, in your memory or in your mind, what's your best personal sports accomplishment?
My 1,000 points.
When you scored 1,000?
Yeah.
Okay. Taylor, how about you?
Probably 1,000.
Same thing, 1,000. It's a big number for sure. Caiden, do you have a favorite sports moment?
When I was younger, I won like states for free throw competition, the Elks
Like
Lodge.
the Elks hoop shoot?
Yeah.
And you won the state?
Yeah.
Wow, congratulations. I didn't know that.
A while ago, but yeah.
Well, still, it's a state title. They should put something in that wood for that. Maybe you should get your dad can get one made and give it to Steve Beater and tell him to throw it up there. State champ. Zoe, you got a favorite athletic accomplishment?
Probably this year when I got a patch for tennis. I played for 3 months and I ended up winning third at sectionals and then an honorable mention for the Rochester thing.
Oh, okay.
So
it's a tennis.
yeah, it was
Alright.
pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
I've never played tennis up until this year.
So are you a natural?
I
Kinda?
guess. My dad played, so.
Okay.
But my mom always helped me over the summer.
So you're right-handed, right?
Yeah.
So you got that broken thumb's going to make
Yeah.
an issue in tennis season.
But there's nothing wrong with like the ligaments, so it shouldn't be ongoing like my ankle injury was a couple years ago. But I should be okay.
All right. Now, do you have any plans after high school?
I
You're
have,
junior, so
yeah, I have
time.
no clue. Everybody always asks like, "Oh, what are you doing?" I don't know.
Okay, that's fine. How about now a couple of seniors? What do you thought about next year after high school?
Definitely go to college, continue to play basketball.
Have you talked to any coaches?
Yeah, I've had a lot of coaches like come talk to me and
From,
stuff like
like-
that. Some local places, some D2, but I'm just gonna wait to the end of the season to make a choice.
Okay, how about you, Taylor?
I'm not sure about sports yet, but I'm going to go for nursing.
Yeah, it doesn't have to even be sports. You just want
Yeah.
to go to college for nursing.
Yeah.
Okay. You looking at any specific colleges?
I've narrowed it down to St. John Fisher of Rockport.
Okay. So you'd be staying somewhat close to home.
Yeah.
Not like Caitlin McDonald who wants to go to UNLV.
Yeah.
We interviewed her at halftime. Remember that
Mm-hmm.
interview? She said she wants to go to UNLV. Izzy, how about you? You're just a junior still. Like it seems like you're like a grad student or something. You've been around for so long, but you're just a junior. But have you thought about after high school?
Not really, no.
Have you been recruited by any coaches?
A couple. Yeah.
And you want to share like any of the coaches that reached out to you, like schools?
St. Francis
Okay.
down in PA.
Yep. And what's that communication like? Do they like email you? Do they come see your game?
She's called me a couple of times, texts, schedules, wants to see what's going on.
And you definitely want to play basketball in college?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So last thing before we get out of here, and we've already gone like 10 minutes late. What anybody that you want to give a shout out to who's helped you along the way? Coaches, parents, relatives, friends, anybody.
Coach Crego Zoe and Coach Dave Welcher.
Mm-hmm.
My parents.
Mm-hmm.
They do everything, especially my dad.
Your dad's your biggest fan, I think,
yeah,
right?
He goes to every game, records every game. He loves his highlights.
Yep.
Loves those.
Yeah, he always sending me stuff.
Yeah. Yes.
But it's fun to get it.
Definitely
I've really fun to watch play, whether I've seen you in person or some of these highlights. Really fun player to watch play. And,
Thank you.
we have a whole nother year of enjoying you. So good luck in sectionals, coming up. And again, congratulations on everything you accomplished, and look forward to seeing the next year and a half.
Thank you.
Taylor, anybody you wanted to give credit to or shout out for helping you along the way?
My parents, my sister, coaches.
A younger sister or older sister?
She's older. She's 23.
Okay, so she played basketball for Clyde?
Yeah, she did.
Okay. Did you end up scoring more points than she did?
Yeah.
Or so you passed her already?
Yeah, I'm better than her.
You let her know. So
Yeah.
what about right now if you went out and played one-on-one, who would win?
Me.
Now, who would win one-on-one between your dad and Kevin, and your Uncle Kevin?
My dad.
He would?
Yeah.
Wouldn't even be close? All right. Who would win an arm wrestling match between your dad and your Uncle Kevin?
My dad.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so he's basically dominating your Uncle Kevin physically nowadays, huh? But he's younger, right? Okay, well,
Yeah.
your Uncle Kevin is getting a little older. So we got to, sometimes we got to help him into the broadcast booth a little bit. We don't want him to get hurt. But state champion coach, right? You aware of that? The Uncle Kevin coached Clyde in 1993 to the state title.
I didn't know that.
You didn't know that?
No.
You got to look up in the banners in your gym,
Yeah.
and I think his name will be on there. But yeah,
That's awesome.
state title for Clyde in 1993. Caiden, anybody you want to shout out?
Definitely my family. When you go to games, it's crazy. It's like they're their own section. Like, you got my parents there, you got my grandma and grandpa's there, cousins, brothers and sisters there. They're always really supportive.
So you got a big
encouraging.
family. They all come out to watch you play. That's
Yeah.
great. So yeah, they get that kind of support. It's fun. Do they just sit quietly and watch your games, or do they ever talk to the referees?
Sometimes I gotta tell my mom to quiet down. I'll give her a little look during game, all right, you're exceeding your limits right now.
Right.
A little bit there.
Yep. Well, to both you girls, thanks for coming in. Taylor had an outstanding high school career. I've loved watching you play. The few times I've gotten to see Clyde play, this last Monday in Waterloo, I was really impressed with how hard you played the entire game. I think it's a really testament. You just seem to you really have a high motor, and so best of luck to you guys
Thank
the
you.
rest of this year. And Caiden, I can't wait to see the Lyons girls play soon. I think you got a legitimate shot at making some noise in the postseason, and so hopefully it's a really successful senior year for you. And thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
And Zoe, anybody that you want to give a shout out to that helped you along the way?
Definitely Joe Barbaro, my first coach, and Coach Loria and Florak, and for sure my mom for always writing my workouts and coming to all my games.
What does she do with your workouts?
Oh, she writes them down.
Writes
She runs marathons, and she's really big into working out, so she always helps me.
Oh, really? So
Yeah.
have you ever run any long distance
Oh
races?
no, I can't. No, she runs marathons it's.
What about a
fun.
5K?
No, I think I did it once, but I was 7, so I was on my dad's back the whole time.
So what's the last marathon that your mom ran?
It's been a while because she did a half Ironman, so it's
So that's different than marathons.
Yeah,
You got to swim.
and bike.
And bike, but
Yeah.
swimming's the hard part. I could bike. But, to me, that swimming's the hard part. You got to jump in the water, swim 2 miles, right?
Yeah, I don't know exactly, but it's half a marathon, and it's insane.
It is. It is insane. So, so you think you get some of your physical ability from her?
Yeah, for sure. And my dad, he was an athlete.
Okay. What did he play?
He did tennis. I think he played basketball, and he ran track.
Okay. Well,
Or football. He did
sorry
football as
that
well.
you have to,
Yeah.
suffer through this injury in the middle of your season. Good
Yeah.
news is you're only a junior, so
Yeah.
you will have next year to come back and play, but hopefully get better for the postseason this
Yeah,
year
for sectionals.
and see how it goes. So thanks for coming in. You
Yeah.
had the longest drive, so appreciate it. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
So that'll about do it here for the Upstate Hoops podcast. Reminder, Monday night, tomorrow night, we'll be in Clyde for Romulus Clyde, NFL1 Radio. Thanks to our sponsors, Generations Bank, Little John Orthodontics, DeSando Propane, and Bill Cram Chevrolet. And thanks for joining us on the Upstate Hoops podcast. Connect with us on Twitter at Finger Lakes 1. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Our audio-only podcast is available on iTunes and Stitcher.com. Archived episodes are available at fingerlakes1.tv, and this podcast airs weekly on Sunday night on Finger Lakes TV Spectrum, channel 1304. You can also find our show, live stream games, and local news, weather, and sports 24/7 on the free fingerlakes1.com Android or iPhone app. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next Sunday morning back here, and we'll see you out on the hardwood gyms across the Finger Lakes this week.